The white moonlight in husband's heart is my best. I've been married to Adrien for 3 years. At home, I cook for him. Outside, he never chases other women. In the public eye, we're the perfect couple. At a private banquet, he got drunk and called me to pick him up. I rushed to the doorway, hand on the knob, just as his buddy teased, "Jordan, you're incredible. No feelings, yet you've stayed with Autumn 3 whole years. Haven't you felt even a flicker?" Adrien answered, carefree, "There's only Sienna in my heart." Autumn is nothing more than a springboard to get close to Sienna. And the Sienna he spoke of is the best I've had for 12 years. 1. I froze, my phone screen still showing the typed message, "Husband, I'm at the door." All warmth drained from my fingertips. 3 years of marriage, and everyone said I'd married true love. Outsiders see me as a rising fashion designer and him as a self-made magnate. Once, naive, I believed we were destined by heaven. Last year, fevered at 102F, I felt someone nursing me. When I opened my eyes, Adrien wore my pink apron, holding a bowl of porridge topped with a heart-shaped egg. I looked it up, he said. A fever needs millet porridge. I simmered it half an hour. Try it? Leaning against him then, I thought, this is enough for a lifetime. 4 years ago I was still unknown in the design world. Staring at blank sketches, I vented on Twitter, "Can anyone save my inspiration? If this drags on I'll be selling bubble tea." 10 minutes later a DM popped up from Adrien. "The waistline in your design is too safe. Try satin paneling plus an asymmetric hem, might break the mold." I tried the tweak. That piece later won a small award. We began talking, from design to life. He understood my obsession, I understood his startup grind. When he proposed he said, "Autumn, I want to take care of you forever, marry me." Tears blurred my vision as I shouted, "Adrien, I do." Now those sweet moments feel like a meticulously woven dream. 2. I slowly pulled my hand back and leaned against the cold corridor wall. Bits I'd overlooked flooded my mind. Back then Adrien asked to know my hobbies better and had me share Sienna's WhatsApp. Our first trip abroad just happened to land in the city where Sienna studied. Especially the night Sienna broke up, she sobbed she could barely breathe. I clutched the phone, heart aching, while Adrien beside me was even more frantic. "Is Sienna okay? Should we fly over?" He even got her address and overnighted a giant box of her favorite snacks to cheer her up. I'd teased him for loving the house and its crow. Now I realize I was the crow. My senses returned when my pocket vibrated. Sienna's message lit the screen. "Autumn, I'm landing next week, come pick me up." I stared, hesitated a second, then typed, "Okay." The instant it delivered, I deleted every chat with Adrien, turned, and left the hotel. My heels clicked across the polished floor, each step crushing 3 years of self-deceiving bliss. 3. Neither of us ever mentioned that night. The day Sienna returned, the sky was ridiculously blue. I was heading out to pick her up when Adrien offered to ride along. "The airport's far, I'll drive so you don't have to worry." His tone was casual, the sort of everyday kindness anyone might believe, if I didn't know what his heart truly wanted. "All right." Inside the car you could hear us breathe. I sat in the passenger seat, sneaking a glance at him. He was visibly upbeat. Too upbeat to notice the unusual hush. Probably too excited, he made record time. Sienna wheeled her luggage, bright and loud as ever. Spotting us, she waved. "I'm here." Adrien stepped up first, handing her the brand of water she loved, then smoothly took her suitcase. His voice light and familiar, something I hadn't heard in ages. "Sienna, welcome back. Autumn talks about you nonstop. Tired? Found a place?" Sienna flicked her stray hair, eyes flicking to me, then grinned sweetly at Adrien. "Missed you guys. Not too tired, just woozy from the flight. Came in such a rush I haven't booked anything, may have to crash with you too." "No need to crash," Adrien answered at once. "We have an apartment downtown, brand new furniture, you can settle straight in." That apartment was meant for the children we planned to have. Now he'd forgotten the promise entirely. I smiled. "Sounds good." 4. Dinner was at the sushi bar Sienna loves. On the way Adrien talked nonstop with her. Life abroad must have been fun. His buoyant voice floated to the back seat. She laughed, jumping from foreign cafes to hometown changes, leaving me no space. I smiled wryly beside them. My own best is back, yet I can't wedge in a word. Inside the cedar-scented room he opened the menu and blurted, "Sienna, you used to love their pan-seared cod, shall we get one?" She nodded, then turned to me, "Autumn, what do you feel like?" Before I could open my mouth, Adrien cut in, "She's easy, anything's fine." I sat beside him like extra furniture. When the server arrived, he slid each plate to Sienna first, poured her sake. Move smooth as an old couple's. My chopsticks moved only a few times. Steam from the miso blurred my eyes. Near the end he finally glanced at his phone and remembered me. Autumn, grab a cab home, will you? Sienna's bags are heavy, I can't have you laboring. We're one flesh anyway, so me helping equals you helping. I didn't argue, just dipped my head, I'm done. The atelier has work waiting, I'll head over. I picked up my bag and left. At the door I couldn't help looking back. Warm light grazed Adrien's profile as he peeled shrimp for Sienna, trimming every vein, smile soft. That tenderness hasn't been aimed at me in a long while. 5. After that, Adrien spent more and more nights away. At first he still bothered with excuses. The company project is crunch time, I have to work late at the office, or the client changed the itinerary last minute, so I have to fly upstate for 2 days. I watched the exhaustion pooled beneath his eyes when he came home well past midnight. For a moment I almost believed he really was buried in work. But the instant he shrugged off his tailored suit jacket, a foreign perfume threaded through my lungs, sweet and cloying, a berry and peach scent identical to the one Sienna always wore. I brushed the stray hair clinging to his collar, so pale it was almost invisible, and he caught my gaze, hurrying to toss the jacket into the hamper. Probably rubbed off during the meeting, he said, forcing lightness. One of the women on the team. He has fed me that same lie again and again. I never argue, I simply pull his jacket out later and wash it by itself. 6. A week later I'm hunched over sketches in the atelier when my assistant rushes in, phone in hand, face twisted. The photo on the screen is razor sharp. Under the lounge's low amber light Adrien lounges in a booth, Sienna curled against his shoulder, their glasses touching. He is gazing down at her with a tenderness you could wring like a wet cloth. The headline punches me in the throat. Dance CEO spotted with mystery woman at bar, intimate behavior suggests new romance. The comment section is on fire. That woman is definitely not Mrs. Vance. Side piece, anyone? Look at his eyes, this is real love, people. My hand trembles around the phone, fingertips like ice. I fight back tears and hand it to my assistant, voice steady except for a tremor at the end, obvious Photoshop. Ignore it. I wait for Adrien to explain, even if it's the same old fairy tale. But the night deepens and my phone never rings. He doesn't post a single denial, letting the story run wild, letting strangers slice open our marriage. Outside, the darkness thickens. Staring at that hateful photo, I suddenly feel hollow, too tired to breathe. 7. Sienna's welcome home party is set for Saturday night. She hand-delivers the invitation to the atelier, asking Adrien and me to come together. That evening I pick a plain cream dress, no makeup, just a swipe of nude lipstick. At the entry mirror Adrien steps out of the walk-in closet. I freeze. He's wearing the custom suit I gave him for my last birthday, broad shoulders, tapered waist, every hair in place. Even the cufflinks are the new platinum set I bought him weeks ago. He only dresses like this for boardroom galas. Tonight it's just my best's casual homecoming. Kept you waiting? He reaches to straighten my collar. I sway back half a step. His hand hovers, hurt flickering across his eyes. Let's go. We shouldn't keep Sienna. The apartment is loud and laughing. Sienna stands at the center in a scarlet slip dress, a red rose in full bloom. The second Adrien crosses the threshold, his stare snaps to her. She spots us and glides over. Autumn. I saved you a seat. We settle beside her. Adrien pulls a deep red velvet box from his pocket and offers it to Sienna. Welcome home, he says, voice silkier than I've ever heard it. A little something from both of us. Sienna's eyes widen, she lifts the lid. A ruby the color of pigeon blood flashes inside, the diamond necklace we saw last month, the one I lingered over until the $3 million tag stopped me. Adrien had whispered, too pricey right now, but maybe for Christmas. I'd thought it was prudent kindness. Now he's pinned it around Sienna's throat. I saw you stare at that window for 30 seconds, he murmurs, radiating pride. Knew you loved it. The room erupts. Mr. Vance, you shouldn't have. That stone must have cost a fortune. Someone who knows we're married shouts over the music. Honestly, you two look more like husband and wife. Adrien doesn't deny it, he simply gazes at her, grinning like a schoolboy. Sienna leans closer, wine sloshes onto her hem. Whoops, tipsy already, she giggles. His arm circles her waist, forgetting I exist. No more drinks. I'll walk you to the lounge. They disappear down the hall, he never even glances back. I down my champagne in one scalding gulp. 8. The crowd is still cheering when I step under the street lamp to wait. Adrien emerges, thumbs flying over his phone to Sienna, smiles soft at the edges. I walk up, voice winter cold, we need to talk. He jerks the screen dark, irritation icing his features. About what? It's late. Let's go home. I ignore the dismissal, firing each word. Are you in love with Sienna? The sentence slices the 3-year masquerade clean open. His pupils shrink, he looks away, panicked, then explodes. Autumn, have you lost it? That's insane, she's your best, I look after her for your sake. Stop Morgan all the time, my sake? I laugh, finger jabbing at his chest. My sake made you gift her the necklace I wanted? My sake put your arm around her in that booth? My sake makes you remember what bottled water she drinks? Speechless, he tries to hug it away like always. Autumn, come on, you know who's in my heart. After everything I've done, who's in your heart? I echo, disgusted. Adrien, what exactly am I? You married me for proximity to her, didn't you? I pull the divorce papers from my bag and offer them. We're done. 9. His face blackens. He slaps the documents aside, pages scatter, flipping in the wind. Autumn, don't push me. This isn't even adultery, he roars, half frantic. I don't consent. Leave me and see how far you get, your atelier, your connections, every thread leads back to me. Adrien, emotional cheating is still cheating. And are you sure I'm the one depending on you? Think again. I bent down, picked the papers off the floor, and flicked off the dust. What's mine, I'll take back myself. I'm leaving the divorce papers here. When you're ready to sign, contact me. The moment I finished, I turned and walked away. I'd taken only a few steps when I heard an engine roar behind me. Adrien's car shot off like a fugitive. The red glow of the taillights shrank into the night. I hailed a cab home. Without hesitation, I hauled several suitcases from the storage closet. Piece by piece I packed my clothes, my sketches, our photos. I spotted our wedding picture on the nightstand. I lifted the frame, traced the glass with a finger, then slammed it into the trash. Trash belongs in the trash can. So do people. When love dies, you let go. I will never reconcile with Adrien. I never wanted anything from him except himself. In this relationship I never wronged him. I even lowered my bottom line for him, only to have him make me feel like some worthless groupie. At 3 a.m., when the last suitcase clicked shut, I looked at the apartment I had lived in for 3 years and felt no attachment at all. I closed the door, taking every trace of me with it. 10. I moved into a flat near the atelier. I revised sketches by day and hunted for inspiration by night. I won't abandon my career because of a man. Life went on as usual. Morning light slanted across the cutting table. I held shears and sliced through fabric. Adrien pushed the door open. His tailored suit was wrinkled, bloodshot eyes glaring. 3 days after I'd left, he had finally come. Balancing a tape measure, I walked around the dress form and ignored him. Autumn, do you have to blow this up? I was only a little nicer to Sienna. Do you have to make a scene? Sienna hasn't complained. Who are you performing for? He broke the silence first, anger wrapped around every word. I'm the one making a scene? I smoothed the gown neckline without sparing him a glance. People are like garments. Once the stitching is crooked, no mending hides the loose threads. All I ever asked of you was a heart laid bare and a love spoken aloud. That night I attended the gala and heard you say Sienna is the only one in your heart. Later I lied to myself, thinking you were joking, until I saw you with her and realized I was the joke. No one can bear to watch the person they love fall for someone else. Neither could I. His gaze swept the rack and turned razor sharp. You adore these rags so much? Autumn, I've wanted to tell you, your designs are nauseatingly ugly. Necklines skewed like a dog chewed them, color palettes garish enough to blind. It's only because I, Adrien, stoically tolerated you that your label ever amounted to anything. Before we married he had never said anything so vicious. He knew design is my life, my everything. You've been dying to say that, haven't you? I set the tape measure aside and stared straight at him. Adrien, you disgust me. There was no retreat in my eyes, only utter cold. If you don't love me, why keep me chained? Adrien exploded, snatched the vase from my desk, and smashed it on the floor. The crash sent shards flying. Autumn, I will never agree to a divorce. Even if we die together. You're not shaking me off. I held back as long as I could, then I couldn't. My right hand swung, the crack of the slap echoed through the atelier. Even the cicadas outside fell silent for a beat. Adrien froze, cheeks scarlet, eyes murderous. Before he could speak, I seized his arm and shoved him toward the door. Adrien, I never imagined you could become this person. 11. Preparations for the fashion show entered the final sprint. Oh, almost forgot. This show is a collaboration the atelier sealed with Jamie before Adrien and I fought. He will attend. I don't care whether he shows. I only want the runway to run perfectly. When the spotlights dimmed, my fingers still trembled, clutching my skirt. A follow spot hit the top of the runway. The music began, the piano piece I had chosen myself. The first model stepped out, and the ginkgo embroidered gown seized every gaze. Hand-stitched ginkgo leaves climbed from the waist to the hem, every vein was outlined in gold thread. As the gauze swayed with each stride, the gold shimmered, as if an entire autumn sun had been sewn into the dress. The faint swish of the hem couldn't drown the rising applause. It began as scattered clapping, then rolled into a wave. From the wings I watched the model turn. All those all-nighters revising silhouettes, the 10-odd color tweaks, Adrien's venom. Under the spotlights they became the brightest focus on earth. After the final exit, I walked out for my bow. I had barely straightened when a figure rushed up. Logan. The youngest on the team, fresh out of college, he had pulled plenty of late shifts for this show. His arms circled my back with clumsy strength, yet nothing improper. Chin brushing my shoulder, voice shaking. Autumn, we did it. We really did. The hug was light, pure campus enthusiasm. I laughed, patting his back to calm him. Out of the corner of my eye I collided with a gaze so icy it hurt. Adrien still sat front row. Applause surrounded him, yet he looked carved from ice. Fingers choking an unopened bottle of water. Knuckles white, tendons on his wrist standing out like cords. His stare fixed on Logan's hand resting on my back. What little expression he'd had now darkened, storm-ready. Logan sensed it, quickly let go, cheeks red. Sorry, Autumn, I got carried away. I shook my head, unfazed. I never once glanced at Adrien. Suddenly backstage cheers poured in, someone thrusting a bouquet, shouting, Autumn, you killed it. We're on fire. Amid the racket I heard a sharp crack from the front row. When I turned instinctively, all I caught was Adrien's rigid back retreating fast toward the exit. 12. The post-show cheers hadn't faded, when Adrien dragged me by the arm into a corridor corner. So this is why he'd slipped out early, he'd been waiting. He slammed me against the wall, gripping my left hand so hard it felt he would crush the bones, eyes blazing with offended rage. Autumn, do you think I'm stupid? Is Logan your pretty boy? Do you like him? Is that why you're rushing the divorce? I wrenched free, the cuff of my white shirt crumpled. Blind to my resistance, he spoke with condescending arrogance. I know after Sienna came back I spent less time with you, but I gave you the title and glory of Mrs. Vance. Yes, I have feelings for Sienna, yet you're the one I love most. Sienna will go abroad again. Once she's gone I swear I'll settle down with you. Stay with me obediently. We've been together 3 years, must you fuss over every little thing? The title of Adrien? I stared at the Vance lapel pin gleaming on his tailored suit, then laughed until tears fell. The last trace of feeling for him evaporated. Disgusting. I pulled out my phone and flicked to that faded photo from 3 years ago. In the garage, I was wrapped in a threadbare down jacket. My hand clutched the crumpled atelier license, fingertips purple with cold. I enunciated every word, crystal clear. Adrien, you forgot? Vance used to be called the Atelier, and I, Autumn, ran my mouth at 20 fabric mills till it bled, stayed up revising proposals until I vomited blood, and built it from zero. You said you'd manage the company so I could focus on designing. I believed you and transferred 70% of the equity to you. Adrien, you've been CEO for what, 5 minutes, and already forgotten who actually founded this place? Forgotten whose heart and soul poured the foundation? Adrien's Adam's apple bobbed. He wanted to speak but came up empty. He stepped closer and tried to grab my hand again. I flung him off as if touching filth. My eyes held nothing but revulsion and ice. Don't touch me, Adrien. You make me sick. You crept close to me for Sienna, let me fall for you. Wasn't that emotional fraud too? You knew design is my life, yet you trashed me again and again. Did you ever love me? His face flushed scarlet, then drained white. His throat jerked, but he still jutted his chin. Stubborn Autumn, I just made the little mistake every guy makes. Let's pretend it never happened and stay together, okay? I cut him off, voice arctic. Divorce is non-negotiable. 13. From that day, Adrien's harassment clung like a swarm of flies. He escalated, invading every corner of my life. 7 a.m., I reached the atelier lobby, and found him leaning against his black Maybach, smoking. butts littered the curb. He'd camped all night. The instant he saw me, he stubbed the cigarette and lunged, trying to seize my arm. Autumn, let's talk. I sidestepped, his hand closed on air. We have nothing to discuss. 10 p.m., my new doorbell rang. Through the peephole, he stood holding the cake I once loved, the mango cake allergen. I smiled, opened the door, and smashed the cake into his face. Thanks for the cake, but you forgot I'm allergic to mango. Even worse followed. Zhang, my collaborator of 6 months, texted, Autumn, I'd love a custom wedding gown. Meet at the bridal boutique? I arrived to find Adrien in the seat, tacky red roses on the table. He reached for my hair, voice artificially soft. Autumn, I was wrong. Remember this shop? We picked your wedding gown here. I shouldn't have said those things. Forgive me just this once, let's start over, please? My stomach lurched. I grabbed my bag to leave. Panicked, he yanked the strap. You can't stand me that much? How long are you going to make me beg? What's so great about Logan? I wrenched free, disgust dripping. Adrien, you can't even lie convincingly. Using Zhang as bait, this is your best shot? I told you, I have zero tolerance for tainted love. We are done. He still couldn't grasp why I was this furious. I was only a little nice to Sienna, come on. I didn't cheat. Where's the affair? I'll say it again, emotional cheating is still cheating. In his mind, if bodies never collide, the mind can orbit the moon and it doesn't count. Yet the hurt, the drain, the disappointment, all real. 14. Finished, I walked away without a backward glance. I still had a date with Sienna. I slid into the cafe we'd picked. Moments later, Sienna's voice bubbled with glee. Autumn, everything's set, just like you said. Finally, no more enduring that bastard Adrien. I gave a soft hum and gazed out the window. The outcome had always been in our cards. The minute I learned Adrien wanted Sienna, we built the trap. If he'd stayed indifferent when she returned, I'd have erased that day. But he sidelined me for her, so I chose exit and retrieval. Ridiculous, I'd even bet Sienna he wasn't that type. I was the fool. I never imagined his face could be this vile. Maybe I'd never really seen him. Sienna, seeing me calm, hesitated, then finally spoke. Autumn, there's more. The day you asked for divorce, he came after me. He genuinely wanted to sleep with me. I made excuses and fought free. I kept quiet so you wouldn't worry. I don't know why Adrien fixates on me, but our 10-year bond won't buckle. Still, I feared you'd hurt, so I have to tell you, he's asked me shopping, movies, gifts, over and over. I want you to see him clearly, he's no good. My hands trembled as she talked. Lovers endure, the loveless prowl. It's fine. I'm past caring. I was blind, I won't be cut again. I fought a smile, lifted my coffee toward her. Thanks for enduring so long. Now I just wait to be free. Please, girl, after all these years? That scumbag's had it coming. Disgust spilled across her face, brows knit tight. Now the holes in Vance's books are public, investors bolted, let him pray for mercy. When her assistant pinged me the photo, Sienna and I were picking a celebration restaurant. In the shot, Adrien slumped in a chair after signing, hair a bird's nest, eyes bloodshot, fingers still crushing the wrinkled stock transfer deed. His illusion of total control? Nothing but a snare laid by Sienna and me. I told him, every debt, I'd reclaim, ounce by ounce. 15. Adrien hunted any path to win me back. Every route was walled shut. At last, teeth clenched, he declared, I'm dumping 60% of the company's equity to raise emergency cash. He didn't know I'd already swallowed those shares through shell firms. Shareholder meeting day. On stage, Adrien performed calm, rest assured, the company will weather this. Will it? I pushed the door open, clutching thick equity certificates, lawyer at my heel. I laid the documents on the conference table, voice ringing clear. Ladies and gentlemen, I now hold 67% of Vance. I am the majority shareholder. Effective immediately, the company rebrands as Jamie. Adrien, for embezzlement and corporate harm, is stripped of all titles. Adrien shot to his feet, disbelief carved across his face as he stared at me. Autumn, are we really doing this? I sat in the chairman's leather chair, gaze flat, not a flicker of warmth. We never had to. Thinking back, maybe Adrien and I were wrong from day one, because every feeling had been seeded in deceit. I'd believed that if I loved with absolute sincerity, the other heart would echo it. In the end it was nothing but lies and betrayal. Sienna strolled in, smile wicked, waving Adrien's bank statements like a victory flag. Adrien, you're broke, so get lost. He swayed, eyes wide, the shock draining the color from his face. He looked at me, then at Sienna, lips trembling, but no sound came. At last he understood, from beginning to end. He had only ever been the punchline of our plot. 16. After the shareholder meeting adjourned, Adrien cornered me in my office. His fingers clamped around my wrist. Autumn, I was wrong, I swear it. I shouldn't have shut you out. Give me one more shot. I don't want Sienna anymore, I just want you. When I saw Logan near you that day, it hit me, I can't lose you. I'll walk away from the company if that's what it takes, only you matter. His tears dripped onto my hand, warm and sickening. From the moment I knew he genuinely meant to cheat, forgiveness had become impossible. I tugged free, tugged the divorce papers from the drawer, and slid them across the desk. Adrien, do you honestly think I could ever believe you again? His face bleached white, tears fell faster. He clutched my arm, pleading in broken fragments, I'll change. I can't live without you. All these years together. I cut him off, voice calm, final. Spare me the sentiment. You have two choices. 1. Sign, take the settlement I'm offering, and live comfortably for the rest of your life. 2. I hand my lawyer the proof you embezzled, and you leave here with nothing but a prison sentence. His eyes fixed on the black print. His fingers quivered like leaves. For a full minute he couldn't touch the pen. Apparently weighing jail time, he finally lifted it, scrawling a shaky signature. I folded the signed pages, sealed them in the folder. Without glancing at the man slumped in the chair, I said, the money will hit your account once the divorce is filed. Don't ever show your face again. I walked out. Behind me, muted sobs filled the office. 17. A month later, Adrien and I were strangers in the eyes of the law. He stared at the decree, eyes bloodshot. He lifted his gaze, voice raw. Autumn, I know you'll never forgive me. I hope you're happier. If one day you look back, affection that arrives late is cheaper than weeds. And I sure don't want his vile brand of love. Only one thing still gnawed at me. Adrien, there is no later for us. Answer this, why Sienna? His eyes glazed, drifting into the past. Back in college overseas I was mugged, she took me to the hospital and left money. I blinked. So his grand devotion hinged on a mix-up. He kept rambling. How she'd worn white, how her smile had felt like sunlight, for years he'd clung to it. I dialed Sienna and put her on speaker. Do you remember rescuing a guy who got mugged abroad? Sienna's breezy voice burst through. Nope. All I recall is camping out for that limited run fabric you wanted, 3 hours, legs gone numb. Who has time for random heroics? I hung up, the answer rang in the hollow silence, coloring Adrien's face. Color drained from his cheeks to his lips until he looked corpse gray. He muttered, impossible, she clearly. Everything's possible, I said, pocketing the phone. Sienna might have helped on impulse, but you never even registered. From start to finish you were the only one obsessing, and in doing so, you drove away the person who loved you most. Adrien, I loved you, ferociously. He sat frozen, pupils vacant, as if every bone had been hollowed. So, it was always my fantasy, and I chased away the one who truly loved me. Ha, Adrien, you colossal idiot. Autumn, I owe you a real apology, sorry for wasting your love. Only now did Adrien see his feelings clearly, but the woman who had loved him no longer did. 18. Free of Adrien, my life clicked back into its rightful groove. I left day-to-day operations to the pros. My mornings now start in the atelier, breathing crisp fabric scent, serenaded by humming sewing machines, infinitely sweeter than playing Mrs. Vance. Logan still drops by, same as always, sometimes bearing a steaming soy latte, sometimes sorting color cards, occasionally debating gown neckline depth. One afternoon he blushed crimson and thrust a bouquet of sunflowers at me. Autumn, I've liked you forever. Could you give me a chance to court you? I hesitated, meeting the honesty in his eyes, and didn't refuse outright. When Sienna heard, she barreled in to lobby me. That kid's solid, devoted, and he actually speaks your design language, light years ahead of Adrien. I've seen the way he looks at you, head over heels. Give the guy a shot. I glanced outside, sunlight spilled across the fabrics like liquid gold. The past is past, there's no need to live chained to it. I watched Logan aligning pattern pieces, and answered softly, then impress me. He spun around, eyes sparkling. I won't let you down. The sewing machine purred, thread painting new shapes on cloth. My new life is only just beginning.